Hi everybody and welcome to today's webinar. We are delighted to have Will van der Sande with us today. Will is the founder of Dux-Soup and you'll be hearing just a little bit from Will in just a few moments. Hello, is this sound quality a little bit better?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Much better.
Excellent. Great, that's good. I'll start again. Apologies there for the sound quality. I think that coming through in the chat, it's a little bit better now. So hello everybody and welcome to today's webinar. We are delighted to have Will van der Sande with us today. Will is the founder of Dux-Soup and you'll hear just a little bit more from Will in a few minutes. Our session today is all about automating and enhancing your LinkedIn prospecting. And we will cover how using Dux-Soup combined with our platform Zymplify can help you drive your LinkedIn lead generation through automation at scale. So just a note to begin, we're recording today's session and we will send an email after the webinar with a copy of the slides to the email address that you registered with. We've quite a lot of participants with us today, which is great. But if you do have a question, please put it into the Q&A and we'll answer as many questions as we can throughout the session. So today's agenda to begin with. So we're going to start with who is Zymplify and then we're going to cover an introduction to Dux-Soup. We'll then showcase the Dux-Soup platform through a quick demo. We'll do that. And then we will cover how Dux-Soup and Zymplify, these two platforms can work together. Then we'll move on to how you can enhance your Dux-Soup data through the Zymplify platform. And finally, we will cover data and marketing automation. So we'll start with some brief introductions. My name's Carly. I am the Product Marketing Manager here at Zymplify. I joined Zymplify just over 2 years ago as the company's first marketing hire, and I've been in marketing now for over 10 years at a range of different companies in different sectors. Gavin then, who also works with us here at Zymplify, you will hear from him in just a little minute. He has been with Zymplify for about 2.5 years now, and he is our demand generation manager. His background is in digital marketing and he is responsible for building out our digital campaigns to help bring in leads for the sales team. And then moving on to Will, our very special guest. Will is the founder of Dux-Soup. He has a background in software development and enterprise mashups. Will is a genius at combining data from different sources to create something bigger and better. Will manages a brilliant team of software developers, business analysts, and support staff to ensure Dux-Soup keeps you one step ahead of your competition. So let's get started then with the session. So first of all, who is Zymplify? Zymplify is a data-driven automation and engagement platform. So here at Zymplify, we believe the 3 pillars of lead generation are data, content, and automation. You can't use data if you don't have content to send on automated journeys. You can't send content if you don't have the data to send it to. And there's no point in automation if you don't have the content to send or the data to send it to. So by feeding our platform with buyer intent data, we know we're getting the right kind of leads, which we're nurturing through engaging content. And then we have the automation piece to bring this all together at scale. So here's just a very quick snapshot of some of our current clients, a handful. So you can see we've got a range of clients there from B2B clients through to B2C, a range of different sectors from telecoms to legal to retail to recruitment to software to the charity sector and also digital agencies as well. And here is some of our reviews from our lovely clients on G2. We're really delighted to have so many happy customers who are willing to talk about us on G2. I'm now going to pass over to Will from Dux-Soup for the next part of the webinar. Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Carly, for the excellent intro. Yeah, hi, my name is Will van der Sanden, founder of Dux-Soup. And I've got a few slides here just to give some background about Dux-Soup and have a quick demo for those who are not familiar. So some background of the product. We started development in 2015, basically as a means of just scraping a list of contacts from different sources, and one of those sources was LinkedIn. And just talking to different people at that time, I just found that there was a real need and a desire to get data from LinkedIn, which then, well, being a software developer at heart, led me to start building and productizing a version of Dux-Soup just for LinkedIn, which we released in 2016. At that point in time, the market of LinkedIn automation tools was quite filled with products charging lots of money and bringing very little value. And the strategy for us then at that point was already just to bring something else to the table, as in a product that actually worked and that was priced reasonably, and that would just be able, well, the user would just be able just to install and go without without any hassle, and which is also how we came up with the name. So it had to be easy to work with. It had to be as easy as Dux-Soup. It's an expression which, if when you Google it, you'll find some references also from movies, and it means easy as Dux-Soup is something that is or looks easy to do. Now, obviously, the duck, we have an X in Dux-Soup, and the X in Dux-Soup is there to represent Excel, which at that point was really the target for a lot of people to get the data from LinkedIn into Excel. So that's why we ended up with Dux-Soup, and that name stuck. People seem to like ducks, and well, I definitely like ducks. So there you go. Okay, yes, so there are 3 editions of Dux-Soup. There is a starter edition, professional edition, and a turbo edition. I'm just going to explain a bit about the professional edition. The professional edition, which is the starter, which is the starter edition plus the automation, has the following functionality. It is able to auto-visit profiles in LinkedIn, and that is really to trigger the system in LinkedIn, where when you view someone's profile, they will receive a notification. And I know of quite a few customers who have been using Dux-Soup just to do that, just to view profiles and trigger that system, and that way to really trigger only the most responsive of prospects who will then actually contact you while doing lead generation instead of you contacting them. So that is one way of people using Dux-Soup. One key element of Dux-Soup is to stay within the allowance when viewing profiles. LinkedIn has limits to how many profiles you can view per day, per hour, per month. Also, just general, it has triggers on trying to detect excessive use of their platform. And LinkedIn or Dux-Soup has built over the last 4 years, lots of different features in the product to make sure that we work inside what LinkedIn finds reasonable. So one use case is auto-visiting, the other one is scanning. Scanning really is all about extracting data from LinkedIn without actually viewing profiles, which is generally a step-by-step process of first doing a search in LinkedIn, then you do the scan to get the result set from LinkedIn. And the way people use that with Dux-Soup is they open that result in Excel and remove any profiles that they don't want to target, and then use that to start the automation process. so the downloading of data. So there was both the result data that you can download using the scan option, and also the profile data, which is to build a list for revisiting. As part of a lead generation campaign, you often want to target the same profiles or the same people with different messages over an extended period of time, because there are just multiple points of contact required before people will respond to your messaging. So by using the download option in Dux-Soup in that way, you can retarget the same profiles with a different messaging in a structured and organized fashion. And this data can also be imported into Google Sheets, but also into a CRM or a sales automation tool like Salesforce, and that is really for companies who use the CRM as a central repository for all their lead generation campaigns. Now we also have a Turbo edition, which was released just not even a year ago. And the Turbo edition really brings the integration capabilities to Dux-Soup, while in the professional edition, people were looking and downloading files and using the files to then, to upload into the CRM. With Turbo, you can automate all of that using standard integration technology. So the type of technology are webhooks, which means that Dux-Soup is able to send the data from LinkedIn straight to your target system. And it includes profile data as well as message data of the message box in LinkedIn. Also, this includes Sales Navigator as well as the Sales Navigator message box. There's an API for remote control of LinkedIn activity. What that allows you to do, and what people really find, why they really find Turbo such an excellent product, is that it allows you to move the orchestration of your automation into an automation tool or in a tool like Zymplify, where that tool can then trigger profile views, connection requests, messages, etc., which is something that is otherwise not possible to move outside of LinkedIn. And the last key feature that was added in Turbo is the automatic follow-up. I'll show you that in a second. It allows you to configure multiple messages, like a little drip campaign, to be automatically sent via LinkedIn after a profile accepts a connection request. Okay, so that's the Turbo edition. So now for a quick demo. So if you can just, I think you will need to stop your sharing according to what I see on my screen when I click share. Okay, thank you. I will share. Okay, one sec. Okay, share. And okay, so I hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've lost the chat as well.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yes. Okay, so just a very quick demo. First of all, installing Dux-Soup. Installing Dux-Soup is really straightforward. So you just go to the Dux-Soup website and click on Get Started. That takes you to the Chrome Web Store. And from the Chrome Web Store, I now have the extension installed, but if you don't have it installed, you just click on Install, and then you will get the extension installed in the toolbar of Chrome. So you do need to run Chrome. At the moment, Dux-Soup is only available for Chrome. But to install it, really is just a matter of just go to the website, click on Get Started, click on Install, and off you go. Now, once you get it installed, well, one of the basic scenarios that I was just explaining was to view profiles. And to do that, it's really also a really straightforward process. So first of all, you end up looking for a particular a particular keyword on LinkedIn. And you also want to make sure that you target people. Generally speaking, we find it more useful to target second-degree connections, and that's because those people will already share a connection with you. So now, once you have that list, and you've seen a message here, Dux-Soup is at your service. From here on, you just click on the Dux-Soup icon, and you click on Visit Profiles, which will then show you the current settings. Click on OK, and off it goes. So from here, basically what happens is Dux-Soup will just go through the list that is currently visible in the tab, and without running any automations, because we didn't configure any automation. So now all it's doing is viewing the profiles, extracting the data, and triggering the notification system of LinkedIn. And as I explained earlier, this will always happen all inside the thresholds that are set by LinkedIn to make sure that you don't overuse that platform. And this will run in the background, so you can just open another tab, do some other work, and just leave it running just until either you're done working and you just close your browser, or you just click on Stop Robot, and then it will just stop. So that's really the really very base use case of using using a product. Now the next sort of step up would be to send invitations. For that, you go to the Dux-Soup options. So there are lots of options, as you can see. The product's been around for a while. One of the key features that people like is to send connection requests, where you can include personalized messages with placeholders that are replaced with the profile details, allowing you to send or to use the first name, to use the location, etc. in the messaging. And if you have this enabled, basically when you click on, or when you run the auto visit, you will see, and I'll just do that now, you will see it will start to invite those profiles. I've disabled the message in this particular case, but you will see, I'll just give it one quick second. And that's really another aspect that people really like about the product. Everything that Dux-Soup is doing, you can see happening in your browser. There's no spookiness on our server that's happening. It's all inside your browser. And it's really just like a little macro that is running, a very clever macro, and it's doing all the automation work for you. And there you go. So now this person has been invited. And I'll just stop the robot here. I also mentioned the auto follow-up, and so it's also configured in the options. The automated follow-up message, and if you enable this feature, basically what it allows you to do is set up to 5 different messages that will be sent you can choose to all new connections or to those that you invite via Dux-Soup. And each message has a delay of a number of days, and which then allows you to, just to retarget the same, or to automatically retarget a person with a different message after a certain amount of days. And what's even cooler and even more useful is that Dux-Soup will stop sending messages when the person responds to your drip campaign. And all this will actually use the integration capabilities, which are available also in the Connect tab. So there is the webhook that I discussed, the remote control, and the message bridge for reading messages. And this is a nice bridge back to the guys from Zymplify, who have used the webhooks and the remote control to integrate their platform with Dux-Soup. Okay, over to you.
Great, thanks, Will.
Cool.
Okay, so Thanks again. We're just going to follow up now with how Zymplify then takes that data and what exactly we do with it, how we enhance it with more contact information, and then what we do with it in terms of sending on automated journeys, qualifying them before we send to the sales team, etc. But just to further give you a bit more information about Zymplify, because the market and technology landscape has become so saturated, we believe that the way to stand out is by combining data with content and automation. So Zymplify pulls them all together with data at the forefront, and specifically in this case, we're going to be focusing on Dux-Soup. But our platform combines content, lead gen, automation, nurturing, and sales CRM, all sort of underpinned by data. We'll focus on the different data sources next up, but of course today is all about LinkedIn and using Dux-Soup. So as I said, this is the data hub. There are many ways you can get your data into Zymplify or use data from within our platform. So you can just import it, upload a CSV as you would normally. And as Will said, if you're downloading scans or visits from Dux-Soup, you can upload them here as well, and put them into the CRM and work with them as you would normally. We have a buyer intent engine, where if you're not familiar with buyer intent, basically we search the web for intent signals from those who are looking to buy. We have a website reveal tool, which turns anonymous website visitors into leads. We have a G2 reveal tool, which enhances your buyer intent data from the software review site G2. And then finally, we have the LinkedIn reveal tool, which we will enhance the LinkedIn prospecting. And so basically, how does that work? It lets you connect and manage your Dux-Soup searches and enhance that data. And Will's kindly covered step one for us, where you use Dux-Soup and LinkedIn together to scrape the profiles. And then step two is where Zymplify takes over. So the profiles are then sent to us, and then we'll enhance that data with contact and more company information, and then we create those contacts and companies in our CRM for you to use however you would like. And then we're just going to go through this in a wee bit more detail, just so it's clear, just see how easy it is. Just like the way Will was able to add Dux-Soup onto his Chrome, connecting the two platforms couldn't be any easier. You don't need to be technical at all to link the two platforms. It's done by the webhook, which Will showed. So if you go into the Zymplify platform under Connect, you'll be given a webhook per user. So you could, in theory, have more than one Dux-Soup account linked to your Zymplify platform. We've done that ourselves. We've got two currently, and we've used those both while we've been doing the prospecting. So it is possible to add more than one. Basically, you just take that webhook, head over to Dux-Soup, go to the options, go to the Connect tab, paste the URL into the webhook spot, and then just turn the toggle on. That's as simple as that. And then basically you just start using Dux-Soup on LinkedIn as well showed. You just start visiting your profiles, and connection takes 60 seconds. So once you've started visiting those profiles in Dux-Soup, they'll be sent straight to our platform because you've got the webhook there. So that's how the two platforms communicate. So it'll be sent straight to us. And then from here, you'll be able to choose if you want to manually reveal or automatically reveal those prospects. So depending on the volume that you intend to send Zymplify and indeed your budget, you have complete control over this next phase. So we'll see, we have a few examples of profiles that have been sent to us from Dux-Soup that we've got from LinkedIn. In this case, we're choosing to reveal them manually. So once you click reveal now, that will then reveal that contact level information on a case-by-case basis. If you choose to have them automatically revealed, as soon as they are sent to the Zymplify platform, they'll be revealed. It literally happens in real time. They'll just come in, and the contact level will be revealed. And it'll look a little something like this. So here's an example of one of our contact records. We do have a CRM tool here, so you would just use it as you would a normal CRM. The properties that we'll be able to add will be, your name, first name, last name, title, email, company, domain, phone number, job function, seniority, social handles, and industry. And this was the key properties there are email and phone. So it's part of the problem with LinkedIn is that you're sort of stuck in there and you have to, do your workings and operate in LinkedIn. This allows you to take that data out, enhance it with useful contact information that you can then use to outreach to those prospects. So, I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree with this. So that information is fantastic. It's great to have it. But what do we do with it? What do we do next? So we'll see that once the prospects have been revealed, they'll be added to our revealed table in the LinkedIn Reveal Hub, and you can see that we've got the contact and the key property there is the email. From here, you'll have a few options. So if you think that they are ready to go to the sales pipeline, that's great. Depending on the search and the persona that you've ran in LinkedIn, they may be ready to go straight to your sales team. If that's the case, just click send a pipeline, and they'll automatically be sent into the working sales pipeline for your team to follow up with. I've highlighted a few of our use cases in there that we've done. Alternatively, you could send them on an automated journey. And the reason you would do this is because, yes, they are your ideal persona that you've crafted in Sales Navigator, for example, but you don't know necessarily what stage they are in the buyer journey. And also, they might not even know who you are yet, who the company is. So we would always suggest putting them on a marketing and a sales qualified automated journey, so that whenever it gets to the sales guys, they're only really following up with leads who are ready to hear from them. So that would look a little something like this. Our automated journeys basically allows you to seamlessly add these enhanced contacts to these journeys, and they can be as straightforward or as complicated as it needs to be. It gives you the opportunity to present the right content to the right person at the right time of their journey. And we do that by having a self-contained journey with multiple layers. So I've highlighted the marketing layer here. So we would add them from a list trigger from our LinkedIn reveal that we've revealed the contacts that have been sent to us from Dux-Soup. We'll then send them a series of marketing emails. So there's an example on the right-hand side of the screen. Basically, every 5 days, they'll get one of those styled marketing emails. We'll score that as they are sent. So we'll score opens, clicks, web visits, for example. And if they download the guide, things like that will all be scored. We'll also be adding them to Facebook audiences automatically if they open an email, so that you can be remarketing to them. If you have an ad running on Facebook at the time, you'll be able to automatically reach out to them. We also add them to lists so that we can upload that list to LinkedIn for the LinkedIn remarketing. Currently, there's no direct connection there, but that's something that we'll be working on. But you can just manually upload it. And presumably, if you have Google remarketing pixels on your website or on your landing pages, for example, you'll then be able to send them to those audiences as well. So, potentially hitting them across multiple channels within very little time, as soon as 24 hours. The idea here is that once they get to a certain score, so in this case, we're going to say 4, they're going to move down to the sales sequence. And so the difference here is that these are plain text emails designed to look like they're coming from, a one-to-one. So you're moving from the one-to-many to one-to-one. Down, so it looks like it's coming from our sales manager. It's a plain text email. The delivery rates or the open rates will really go up at this point because they've already received information about you. It's a plain text email. The open rates will be much more, be much higher. So what we'll do is we use the score trigger here to set that sequence off, and then every few days they'll get a sales outreach with various calls to action, with the end goal be adding them to our sales pipeline. So again, we'll score that activity based on their clicks and their opens and the website activity, for example, and then we'll push them to the sales pipeline whenever they're ready. So from doing the scan within LinkedIn, it's automatically added to the marketing journey at the top. We score that activity, and then we push them down to the sales sequence. We score that, and then we push it to the pipeline. So it's really only going to the sales team when they're really red hot leads, and they know about the business, they know what we're all about, and so it makes the job easier for the sales guy. So you're dramatically reducing the sales cycle there. And just to give you an example of how that's worked for us, so prospects received within the last 30 days from doing our visits on LinkedIn and Dux-Soup, we have just over 10,000. Of those, we've been able to reveal just under 7,000. We've then sent just over 10,000 marketing emails to those people. 846 have been added to our remarketing audiences. So again, we've been sending out Facebook and LinkedIn ads. We sent 1,000 sales emails. And from that has dropped out 44 qualified, and that's the key, qualified sales leads. which is potential sales value to us of over 330,000, and that's all within 30 days. So as you can see, all we're doing is scanning. Once we have everything set up, we're scanning LinkedIn. They just move down the funnel naturally on their own, and then drop the sales leads out at the bottom. So just a quick recap of that, and then I'm going to jump into our platform and show you how it's actually looking live. So again, just to reiterate, in the last 30 days, these are the numbers we've been able to pull in, just under 6,000 through LinkedIn Reveal. We then send them on automated journeys. We have 23 live currently, depending on our data sources, which has generated a total of 1,400 new leads, which has then sort of moved into 872 open deals for the sales guys. So all that process is automated. Depending on the data source, there'll be a different journey. I'm just going to jump into the platform now to show you how it actually looks. So if I just select our data layer, and we can see that the large number in the middle is the last 30 days and the smaller number is in the last 24 hours. So we can see there's 17,000 with our buyer intent engine, 450 in the last 24 hours. LinkedIn is just under 7,000. We didn't do any yesterday. And then the G2 Reveal, we have 1,300 over the last 30 days with 100 coming in. And you can see the total prospects revealed in the last 30 days across the different sources is just over 25,000. So if I click through to our LinkedIn Reveal, we'll be able to see the profiles added. And then just to reiterate what we were saying earlier in terms of the throttle, we have two Dux-Soups linked to our Zymplify platform, and we use the default scanning and visiting rules that Dux-Soup have set up. So we haven't changed any of that at all. We just leave it running. We've left it running overnight, but depending on the calendar, we do 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So we leave that running on its own, and that's all handled by Dux-Soup. We don't have to worry about the throttling because their throttle is so smart that it won't impact on LinkedIn in that way. These are the prospects that we've been able to reveal. And you can see on a daily basis, we've been running through. And if I click on prospects, because we have automatically reveal turned on, you'll see that most of these have already been revealed. You can see the name coming through and they've been revealed. And then if we click on the actual revealed, we can see again the contact, the email, company, position, industry, etc. And then we've got actions. And if we want to send to the pipeline or send to the journey. And then our LinkedIn journey looks a little something like this. So again, we're using the list trigger to fire this journey. Every 5 days, they'll get a marketing email. This little bit in the middle is more housekeeping, just because we have quite a few lists and we have quite a large databases, just to make sure the people are on the appropriate journeys. This is where the sales sequence takes over. So once we score those people, then they get moved to the sales cycle. And then we're checking those emails, those sales emails, and that's pushing to our sales pipeline. And so we're dropping those out at the bottom. I'll just quickly show you the live view so you can get an idea of how those numbers have progressed. As you can see, the idea is that once we scan the profile, they're automatically added to this journey. The journey was set up at the start of the month, and we haven't needed to touch it from that point. So you can see how many people have passed through those steps. You can see that those are updated in real time to be able to see. Okay, so I'm just going to jump back onto presentation now. So just as we start to wrap things up, we will be doing a Q&A just after this, but just 2 more slides just to cover. So basically, in a nutshell, we allow you to enhance the data sent from Dux-Soup, and that lets you reveal contact level information. So you're able to send emails, you're able to call them on the phone. You wouldn't be able to do that without Zymplify. And then it allows you to get in front of those prospects on multiple channels within 24 hours. So we're sending emails, we're on Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Google AdWords, etc. Excuse me. And it allows you to automate the process to get the right content to the right person at the right time at scale, which is key, because if you can see the amount of data sources that we had and the amount of contacts that we have coming in on a daily basis. And the whole idea is to dramatically reduce your sales cycle and then, sort of all being well, sell more. So I'm going to hand over to Carly now, who has some questions, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much, Gavin, and thank you especially to Will as well for your presentations and for sharing those slides with us. That was really, really interesting. So I'm going to go over some of the top questions. So thanks everybody for inputting these into the Q&A. We've had a lot of questions, which has been really, really good. But we won't have time to cover them all. I'll try and cover the majority, and any that we don't cover, we'll send over some of the answers and some of the frequently asked questions whenever we send over the webinar recording. So I will answer some of the questions that are specific to Zymplify first of all, and then I will ask you some of the top questions that have been asked that are specific to Dux-Soup. So we had a good question first of all in from Alistair McDermott. So Alistair has asked, his question is, can you talk about which sectors this automation works best with? Is it more suited for SaaS, so software as a service, professional services, etc.? Are there differences in how you'd approach it in these different industries? And Alistair has stated that he's most interested in how it's used in selling B2B professional services. So Alistair, automation works really well across any B2B industry. With most B2B professionals active on LinkedIn, the system can be used to automate your selling processes at scale by combining the LinkedIn data provided by Dux-Soup and automating the outreach program through Zymplify's automated email journey. So as you can see in our previous slide, just that we showed at the start, we have a huge range of clients across, a huge range of sectors, including professional services clients as well, who are all using our data content automation process with great success, and in particular using the LinkedIn Reveal tool as well to help bring in leads from LinkedIn and nurture them through to being sales ready. So yes, the answer is yes, you can certainly use our tool in the B2B professional services environment, certainly. Another question then, is Zymplify a replacement for a current CRM, or is it a supplement tool to help existing CRM? So Zymplify has a CRM built into the platform, but it can also be used just for the marketing layer. We can also push data to a number of CRMs currently and are developing integrations with many others. So that's the answer for that one. So another question then, we've had a couple of questions then about people having to opt in to the emails. So do people have to opt in on LinkedIn before they start receiving emails? So the answer is no to that. There is no requirement to opt in on LinkedIn. The legal basis for sending prospects marketing emails in this case would be legitimate interests, which is compliant with GDPR, provided prospects are given the opportunity to opt out and you consider the rights of the individual. This is only applicable for B2B email addresses, and we do not supply any personal email addresses at all. So Will, I could ask if you're okay, I'll just go ahead and ask you some of the top questions that have been asked that's specific to Dux-Soup. So Will, a question here we've got from William, which is a good question. He wants to know how he can ensure that he stays out of the LinkedIn jail. So how does his profile he doesn't get banned from LinkedIn. He's been there before and he doesn't want that to happen again.
Well, we've been going for quite a while with Dux-Soup, and as we've built and extended the product, we've added numerous features in the product to stop it from basically triggering any issue or any problems within LinkedIn. So this is having thresholds for the number of views, also the thresholds for the speed. Being able to only run Dux-Soup or to plan the hours of the robot to only run when you're not using LinkedIn manually. So there are various features in Dux-Soup to make sure that it doesn't cause any problems for the profile owners. And in my experience, only when people start to change the settings in Dux-Soup and turn it up to the max, so to speak, is when they do sometimes run into trouble.
Great, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Will. The questions are coming in thick and fast. We've got a few people asking if they can use Dux-Soup in Recruiter as well as in the normal LinkedIn.
At the moment, we only support the Recruiter Lite version. So there is a new version of Recruiter which we're working on, but as it stands, you need to use Recruiter Lite. But then that is supported.
Okay, great. Thanks, Will. I've got another question. Are you aware of anyone having their LinkedIn account permanently revoked for using Dux-Soup?
No.
No. Okay, great. Does Dux-Soup enable you to run a report or download on connections that also shows the number of connections that they have? This person has said that they want to do this to understand who might be the most influential and have the highest organic reach in their network.
No, at the moment the number of connections of a profile is not actually extracted by Dux-Soup, but that is something that we're looking to change. But yeah, no, at the moment it doesn't do it.
Okay, great. We'll take a few more questions. Just we're getting close to time now. Is Dux-Soup effective if solely used from LinkedIn company profiles? For example, company profiles can't send messages. So this person says that they presume automated actions and messages can only be sent from a personal LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, so the use of Dux-Soup is really to be viewed in the context of what is known as social selling, and social selling really is about well, person-to-person selling, not companies selling to individuals. So it requires a LinkedIn profile of a sales representative or an company owner to really to really get that social interaction going.
That's great, thank you. So I will just take a couple more questions regarding Dux-Soup. Within the professional package, is there the feature to directly send the generated leads from LinkedIn to Salesforce, or is this the turbo package needed to have this particular feature?
You require, it's an integration feature, and that's all within the turbo package.
Okay, awesome, that's great. So just one last question then for you, Will. So this person, Tom, has asked, how do you really maximize your connections and how do you get people to really best connect with you? Tom has noticed that it's quite hard to get connections while using it. He has asked, is it just better to use Dux-Soup to gather data and pull them into tools like Zymplify?
Well, to get the most out of your connections, it really is all about targeting the right people in LinkedIn. And we have a few articles about that on our blog. But the key first step in the lead generation process, of which Dux-Soup is part, is really to know your audience, to understand their problems, and to make sure that you message them with relevant information that is that speaks to them, and make sure that you repeat and connect and message the same people with those messages in a timely way. So it's more. I think the more you focus on those first steps of your process, the better the results, really.
Great. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. We're now at time, folks, but you can see just on the slides now, Gavin's just put up the Zymplify packages. If you have any questions about that, please just get in touch with us through the email that we'll be sending, and we'll send the email shortly with the slides and the recording, as well as some of the questions that we didn't get time to answer. You can also get a free trial of the Zymplify platform. Just go to zymplify.com/register. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. The slides and the recording will follow shortly, and thank you especially to Will for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again, Will. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.